Hello, girls.
Hello, Beyoncé.
Hello, fellas.
You're pretty swell.
We want to welcome you to the Beyoncé Cowboy Carter Act 2 and a Rodeo Chitlin Circuit. We're gonna make it do what it do, yeah.
We're about to get into the deeper meaning of why this isn't just the Cowboy Carter tour, but why it's also a Rodeo Chitlin Circuit. And Beyoncé is a genius.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have the mind of a I have the mind of a mastermind. What's that? I don't know, but I'm so creative like that.
So the first clue we got about a potential Rodeo Chitlin Circuit is from the day we got the tracklist for the album. Not only did it say the Rodeo Chitlin Circuit, but the layout was taken from the way the Rodeo Chitlin Circuit used to be advertised. Even when Parkwood celebrated some of Cowboy Carter's achievements, they did it in the same style. And of course, there's no surprise that the tour announcement confirming the Rodeo Chitlin Circuit would be in the same style as well. All this Rodeo Chitlin Circuit talk, but what is it and why is it so significant? Well, the Chitlin Circuit was a network of black-owned music venues that operated from the 1930s to the 1960s. It was born out of the fact that black people weren't allowed to perform at white venues, so they made their own stage.
To all those who feel different, if you're a part of a group that's called Other, a group that does not get the chance to be center stage, build your own stage and make them see you.
A space where black artists could perform and share their talents. So it wasn't just singing, but dancing and even comedy as well. The Chitlin Circuit played a crucial role in popularizing blues, jazz, R&B, and rock and roll. And Beyoncé's Act 3 is said to be rock, so I wouldn't be surprised if whatever tour comes with that album is also modeled after the Chitlin Circuit. Our first introduction to Cowboy Carter was through this video. The radio station in the car was switched from the artist Son House, who is known as the father of folk blues, to Charles Anderson, who is a blues song pioneer, and Chuck Berry, who is the father of rock and roll. Beyoncé also has a Chuck Berry song on Cowboy Carter. Even from Act 1 Renaissance in the Break My Soul remix, she gave a shout out to Bessie Smith, who was a leading figure in the blues genre, and she also influenced rock. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who was a blues artist known for her electric guitar technique that clearly influenced early rock and roll sound. So it's all intertwined. There is cohesion among all the acts. Now, the situation of black people having to come up with their own because of Jim Crow segregation is somewhat similar to how Beyoncé got scrutinized for performing at the Country Music Awards in 2016. So what did she do? Come up with her own. She made an entire country album, performed her songs at the Beyoncé Bowl, which ended up getting more views than what the CMAs have been getting for the past few years. Last year, the CMA's viewership was a little over 6 million, while Beyoncé Bowl had 27 million, and that was for the US alone. Of course, people tuned in for the NFL as well, but Beyoncé Bowl definitely brought in additional viewers. All in all, black people will always find a way to wade through the racism. Now, why does the Chitlin Circuit have that name? Well, chitlin is a southern dish made of pig intestines, and a lot of popular artists performed where this dish was served.
When you think about the Chitlin Circuit, it speaks to the alchemic power of those giants in history. Performers would travel a circuit of black clubs. They provided commercial and cultural acceptance for entertainers who weren't allowed to play on white stages. From those spaces came some of the greatest talent that transformed the way we look at music.
Tina Turner, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, and the list goes on. Writer of the book The Chitlin Circuit and the Road to Rock and Roll, Preston Lauterbach actually said, the Chitlin Circuit was African Americans making something beautiful out of something ugly. Whether it's making cuisine out of hog intestines or making world-class entertainment despite being excluded from all of the world-class venues, all of the fancy white clubs, and all the first-rate white theaters. Legendary blues singer who was also called the king of the Chitlin Circuit, Bobby Rush, claims that sometimes they were even paid in chitlins, but in his eyes, chitlin was like steak. Beyoncé added rodeo to the name because her Chitlin Circuit is to support her country album, and that's why some are wondering what the Cowboy Carter setlist will be like. But for every tour, she performs her biggest hits. Like Crazy in Love has probably never missed a setlist, I don't think this time it will be any different. Now to the places Beyoncé will go. She has only 9 cities this time around. Beyoncé's tours have have gotten less and less dates as time goes on. Her Mrs. Carter Show World Tour was the last real world tour. Everything after that was basically only USA and Europe. The Renaissance Tour had 56 shows and the Cowboy Carter Tour has only 30. Some may look at this as just Beyoncé downsizing due to age or the fact that she toured only 2 years ago, but it might not be so simple. The Chitlin Circuit venues ranged in size from palace-like theaters to tiny juke joints. Patti LaBelle is quoted as saying, "It wasn't even the Chitlin Circuit, it was sardine houses." So it wasn't always a huge fanfare. However, some of the more famous Chitlin Circuit venues were the Apollo Theater in New York, the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia, the Howard and Lincoln Theaters in Washington, D.C., the Regal Theater in Chicago, and the Royal Peacock in Atlanta. So Beyoncé probably kept it tighter to be more on theme with the actual circuits. I'm excited to hear how she'll transition from one song to the next on this tour. I'm excited to hear what songs she'll mix together, whether the mixing of her own songs or other people's songs into hers. I'm excited to see all the looks as well. This whole trilogy is so dedicated to uplifting Black people, and I love to see it. I see a lot of white folks mad about Beyoncé winning Best Country Album, and making foolish comparisons saying that it means Dolly Parton could win Best Rap Album. Rap is made by Black people, but country isn't made by only white people, but some are too entitled to see that. I could go on and on about the entitlement of some white folks, but I'll leave it here for now.